In the heart of Nigeria, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, lay the village of Umuaka. Known for its vibrant culture and harmonious living, the village was suddenly gripped by fear. A series of mysterious disappearances and strange occurrences began to plague the once peaceful community, casting a dark shadow over their daily lives. The villagers whispered among themselves, sharing stories of ghostly apparitions and eerie sounds that filled the night. Livestock went missing, crops withered overnight, and an unshakable sense of dread hung in the air. The elders, wise and experienced, had never seen such a crisis and decided it was time to seek help from their bravest warrior. Adiwale, the village's most skilled hunter, was summoned by Chief Okonkwo. The chief's weathered face was etched with worry as he addressed the gathering in the village square. "Our village is under a dark cloud," he began, his voice grave and solemn. "We need someone brave to uncover the source of this evil and restore peace to Umuaka." Adiwale, tall and strong with eyes that gleamed with determination, stepped forward. His reputation as a fearless hunter was well known throughout the region. "I will find the cause and bring peace back to Umuaka," he declared, his voice resolute. The villagers murmured in approval, their hopes pinned on their hero. Ezin, Adiwale's younger sister, stood nearby. She was known for her wisdom and knowledge of herbal medicine. She approached her brother, handing him a small pouch filled with protective herbs. "For protection," she whispered, her eyes filled with concern. "May the spirits guide you and keep you safe." With the blessings of the village and the support of his sister, Adiwale set out on his journey. As he ventured into the dense forest that bordered Umuaka, he encountered a frail old man sitting by the roadside. The old man had a twinkle in his eye that belied his age. "Be wary, young hunter," he said cryptically. "Not everything is as it seems." Adiwale thanked the old man, sensing something unusual about him. He continued deeper into the forest, determined to solve the mystery that plagued his village. The forest was thick and foreboding, the trees towering overhead and blocking out much of the sunlight. Every rustle of leaves and crack of twigs set his nerves on edge. As the sun began to set, Adiwale stumbled upon a clearing. The ground was scorched and lifeless, a stark contrast to the lush greenery that surrounded it. He examined the area closely, noticing claw marks on the trees and deep gouges in the earth. It was clear that something powerful and dangerous had passed through here, a clear sign of the shadow beast's presence. Determined to uncover more, Adiwale set up camp for the night. He built a small fire to ward off the chill and keep away any lurking creatures. As he sat by the fire, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. The forest seemed alive with whispers, and shadows danced at the edge of the firelight. Despite his unease, Adiwale remained vigilant. He knew that his journey had only just begun, and that the true test of his courage and resolve lay ahead. As he drifted off to sleep, his dreams were filled with visions of the shadow beast and the trials he would face. Little did he know that his quest would lead him to encounters with spirits, ancient secrets, and challenges that would test the very limits of his strength and bravery. The next morning, Adiwale awoke to the sound of birds chirping and the sun filtering through the trees. The memory of the scorched clearing and the mysterious old man lingered in his mind, fueling his determination to uncover the truth. He packed up his camp and continued deeper into the forest, following the faint tracks left by the shadow beast. The forest seemed to grow denser and darker with each step. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. As he pushed through the underbrush, Adiwale could feel the weight of unseen eyes upon him. He kept his spear at the ready, every sense heightened by the danger that lurked around him. After hours of trekking through the unforgiving terrain, Adiwale stumbled upon a small, hidden cottage. It was nestled between ancient trees, almost as if the forest itself had grown around it to protect its secrets. Smoke curled lazily from the chimney, and the air was filled with the scent of herbs and spices. Cautiously, Adiwale approached the cottage. The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit interior. By the flickering fire sat a woman of otherworldly beauty. Her skin was as dark as the night, and her eyes glowed with an inner light. She wore a dress made of woven vines and flowers, giving her the appearance of a forest spirit. "You seek the shadow beast," she said, her voice melodic and haunting. But to face Ekwensu, you must first understand its origins. Adewale felt a shiver run down his spine. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice steady but filled with curiosity. The woman smiled enigmatically. "I am Neka," she replied. "I have lived in this forest for many years, and I possess knowledge that can aid you on your quest." Neka gestured for Adewale to sit by the fire. As he did, she began to weave a tale of ancient times. She spoke of Ekwensu, a guardian spirit who had once protected the forest and its inhabitants. But a dark sorcerer, driven by greed and malice, had corrupted Ekwensu with a powerful curse. Transformed into a monstrous beast, Ekwensu now fed on fear and despair. To defeat the shadow beast, you must find its heart, Neka explained. The heart is the source of its power and the key to breaking the curse. Adewale listened intently, absorbing every detail. "And where can I find this heart?" he asked, eager to begin his search. Neka's eyes glowed brighter as she spoke. "You will find it where the shadow meets the light. But beware, the journey will test your spirit in ways you cannot imagine." With these cryptic words, Neka handed Adewale a small, intricately carved wooden charm. "This will protect you from the dark magic that surrounds Ekwensu," she said. "But remember, the true strength lies within you." Armed with this new knowledge and the protective charm, Adewale left the cottage, his mind racing with possibilities. The forest seemed to come alive around him, the trees whispering secrets and the air humming with unseen energy. He couldn't shake the feeling that Neka was watching over him, guiding his steps. As he ventured deeper into the forest, Adewale encountered a series of challenges. He had to cross treacherous rivers, scale steep cliffs, and navigate through a labyrinth of thorny vines. Each obstacle seemed more insurmountable than the last, but Adewale pressed on, fueled by his determination to save his village. One evening, as he set up camp, he heard a rustling in the bushes. To his surprise, Ezin emerged, her face lit with relief and determination. "Brother, I had a vision," she said, handing him a fresh pouch of herbs. "A great trial awaits you, but you must trust in your strength and the wisdom of our ancestors." Adewale nodded, grateful for his sister's support. Together, they pressed on, knowing that the journey ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty. But with Neka's guidance and Ezin's unwavering faith, Adewale felt more prepared than ever to face the challenges that lay ahead. As Adewale and Ezin ventured deeper into the forest, the atmosphere grew more oppressive. The trees seemed to close in around them, their twisted branches forming a nearly impenetrable barrier. The air was thick with tension, and the sounds of the forest were muted, as if the very land was holding its breath. The siblings pressed on, their resolve unwavering. They knew that the shadow beast, Ekwensu, was near and that their quest was entering its most dangerous phase. The path ahead was fraught with challenges designed to test their courage and strength. Their first trial came in the form of a dense fog that enveloped the forest. The fog was so thick that they could barely see a few feet in front of them. Eerie whispers filled the air, and ghostly apparitions began to appear. These apparitions were the lost villagers, their faces twisted in agony as they reached out for help. Ezin clutched her brother's arm, her eyes wide with fear. "What are we to do, Adewale?" she whispered. Adewale took a deep breath, remembering Neka's words about the heart of Ekwensu. He closed his eyes and focused on the light within him, the strength that came from his love for his village and his determination to protect it. As he did, the apparitions began to dissolve, and the fog lifted, revealing a hidden path ahead. The siblings continued along the path, their spirits bolstered by their victory over the fog. They soon came to a rushing river with no bridge or visible way across. The water was dark and turbulent, filled with sharp rocks and hidden currents. Ezin knelt by the riverbank, examining the water closely. "There is a way across," she said, pointing to a series of stepping stones barely visible beneath the surface. "We must move quickly and carefully." With Ezin's guidance, Adewale led the way, stepping from stone to stone. The current was strong, threatening to sweep them away with every step. But with patience and determination, they managed to cross the river safely. Their next trial came in the form of a steep cliff that seemed impossible to scale. The cliff face was sheer and jagged, with no visible handholds. Adewale looked up, his heart sinking at the sight. How are we to climb this? He wondered aloud. Ezin, ever resourceful, searched the base of the cliff and found a network of vines. These vines are strong enough to hold our weight, she said. We can use them to climb. With Ezin's help, Adewale began to climb the cliff. It was a grueling ascent, their muscles straining with every pull. The vines were slippery, and the rocks sharp, cutting into their hands and feet. But they persevered, inching their way up the cliff face. At the top of the cliff, they found a small plateau with an ancient tree at its center. The tree's roots glowed with an ethereal light, and its branches seemed to reach out towards them. As they approached, they heard a hissing sound and saw a giant snake coiled around the tree. The snake's eyes glowed with a familiar mischievous light. "You've done well, hunter," it hissed. "But the real test is yet to come. To proceed, you must solve a riddle. I am not alive, but I can grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, and I can drown. What am I?" Adewale pondered the riddle, recalling his knowledge of the forest and the teachings of the elders. "Fire," he answered confidently. "Fire is not alive, but it grows. It needs air to burn, and it can be extinguished by water." Johnny, the trickster spirit in snake form, nodded approvingly. "You are correct, Adewale," it said, uncoiling from the tree. "You have proven your wisdom and courage. The path to Ekwensu's heart lies ahead." With the riddle solved, Johnny slithered away, revealing a hidden entrance beneath the tree. Adewale and Ezin exchanged a look of determination. They knew that the final challenge lay ahead and that their journey was far from over. But with each other's support and the guidance of the spirits, they felt ready to face whatever trials awaited them in the heart of darkness. Beneath the ancient tree, Adewale and Ezin descended into a dark cavern. The air grew colder, and the walls seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. Shadows danced along the stone walls, and the faint echo of dripping water added to the eerie atmosphere. Adewale knew they were close to the shadow beast's lair, the heart of darkness where Ekwensu dwelled. The siblings moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the silence. The cavern twisted and turned, leading them deeper into the earth. As they ventured further, the sense of dread intensified. The very air seemed thick with fear, pressing down on them with an almost tangible weight. Suddenly, they entered a vast chamber. In the center stood Ekwensu, the shadow beast, in its true form. The creature was enormous, its body composed of swirling shadows and its eyes burning like molten embers. Its presence filled the chamber with a palpable sense of malevolence. "You dare to challenge me?" Ekwensu roared, its voice echoing through the cavern like thunder. "You cannot defeat me, hunter. I am fear incarnate." Adewale stood his ground, his spear at the ready. "I have come to end your reign of terror," he declared, his voice steady and strong. "I will free my village from your curse." Ekwensu laughed, a chilling sound that reverberated through the cavern. "You are brave, but foolish," it sneered. "You do not know the true power of fear." Ezin stepped forward, her eyes blazing with determination. "We are not afraid of you," she said, her voice filled with defiance. "We know your weakness, and we will find your heart." The beast's eyes narrowed, and it lunged at them with terrifying speed. Adewale dodged to the side, narrowly avoiding the beast's claws. He struck back with his spear, but the weapon passed through Ekwensu's shadowy form without effect. The beast roared in fury, its shadowy tendrils lashing out at the siblings. As they fought, Adewale remembered Neka's words about the heart of Ekwensu. He scanned the chamber, searching for the faint glow she had described. Amidst the chaos, he saw it, a faint light emanating from a crystal embedded in the cavern wall. "Ezin, the crystal," he shouted, pointing towards the glow. "That's the source of its power." Ezin nodded, understanding immediately. She dodged the beast's attacks and made her way towards the crystal. Adewale kept Ekwensu distracted, using his agility and quick reflexes to evade the creature's strikes. With a fierce battle cry, Ezin reached the crystal and began to chant an ancient incantation she had learned from their village elders. The crystal's glow intensified, and the air crackled with magical energy. Ekwensu roared in fury, sensing its impending doom. Seeing his sister's determination, Adewale knew he had to act quickly. He charged at the crystal with his spear, channeling all his strength into a single, powerful strike. The spear connected with the crystal, shattering it into 1,000 pieces. A blinding light filled the cavern, and Ekwensu howled in agony as its form began to dissolve. The beast's shadowy essence dissipated into the air, and the cavern trembled as the dark magic was undone. Adewale and Ezin barely managed to escape as the cavern collapsed behind them. They emerged into the forest, breathless and battered, but victorious. Emerging from the forest, Adewale and Ezin were greeted by the first light of dawn. The sky was painted with hues of orange and pink, a stark contrast to the darkness they had left behind. They made their way back to Umuaka, carrying with them the hope of a brighter future. As they approached the villagers gathered, their faces filled with a mix of curiosity and hope. Chief Okonkwo stepped forward, his eyes searching Adewale's for news. "What did you find?" he asked, his voice trembling with anticipation. Adewale smiled, raising his spear in triumph. "The shadow beast is no more," he declared. "We have broken the curse and freed our village from its terror." A cheer erupted from the villagers, their joy palpable. Chief Okonkwo embraced Adewale, tears of gratitude in his eyes. "You have saved us all, Adewale. Our village owes you a great debt." Ezin, proud of her brother's bravery, presented him with a garland of flowers. "You have made us all proud," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "Our ancestors are smiling upon us." The villagers celebrated their hero's return with a grand feast. They sang songs of victory and danced around a great bonfire. The air was filled with laughter and the smell of roasted meat. It was a night of joy and relief, a stark contrast to the fear and despair that had gripped them for so long. As the festivities continued, Adewale couldn't help but think of Nneka and Ajoni. Their guidance had been crucial in his quest. He knew that the forest still held many secrets, but for now, Umuaka was safe. He made a silent vow to return to the forest one day, to learn more about its mysteries and ensure that no other dark force would threaten his village again. That night, as the villagers danced and sang around the bonfire, Adewale felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, not just for himself, but for his entire community. He had proven that courage, wisdom, and determination could overcome even the most formidable of foes. As the fire burned low and the stars filled the sky, Adewale and Ezin sat together, reflecting on their journey. They had faced incredible challenges and emerged stronger for it. Their bond, already strong, had been forged anew in the crucible of their quest. And so, the story of Adewale and Ezin became a legend in Umuaka. It was a tale of bravery, wisdom, and the unbreakable bond between siblings. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and courage could light the way.